Hey, welcome to The Explainer. This is where we take big, powerful ideas and break them down into simple, actionable guides you can actually use. So let me ask you something. Do you ever just feel stuck? Maybe overwhelmed or a little unfocused? A lot of us feel that way, right? It's like you know you're capable of more, but you just can't seem to break out of this cycle of, inaction. It almost feels like your own mind is working against you. Well, today it's time to upgrade your mental operating system. We're going to combine some key lessons from incredible books on discipline, focus, and action to build a mental toolkit for real, lasting change. This isn't about some quick fix, okay? This is a full-on software update for your brain. So let's start the upgrade.
All right, first things first, we have to start with the foundation of it all, discipline. And to really get this, we're going to follow the story of a guy named Ritik, who felt like his life was just completely stagnant until he decided it was time to build that very foundation.
So here's what Riddick figured out. Vague dreams like I want to get in shape or I'm going to get better at my job, they just weren't cutting it. He learned that the very first step to building discipline is setting super clear, measurable goals. It gives you a map, a destination, and a way to actually see if you're making any progress. And guess what happened on day one? He failed. Of course he did. He set his alarm for 6 a.m. and, boom, hit the snooze button. We've all been there. But here's the key. Instead of giving up, he understood that setbacks aren't the end of the world. They're an expected, even necessary, part of the journey. Real discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about what you do next. So his next move was to create a structured routine. Now, this is so powerful because a routine automates your habits. You spend way less mental energy deciding what to do next. It just happens. It minimizes distractions and makes discipline feel less like this huge struggle and more like a natural flow. Now, with discipline taking root, it was time to sharpen his focus. Okay, so you've got a routine in place. The next big challenge is controlling that wandering mind, right? And for this, who better to learn from than the master of observation, Sherlock Holmes? This is the secret to Holmes' genius. Most of us go through life simply seeing what's in front of us. Holmes made a conscious effort to observe, to pay deep attention to the details that actually matter, and to filter out all the rest. He famously compared his mind to a brain attic. He understood that his mental space was finite. You can't just cram it full of random junk and expect it to function well. He was incredibly selective about what he allowed into that attic. What this shows is an active choice. To sharpen your focus, you have to consciously decide what is useful information and what is useless clutter. Think about our world today. The endless social media scrolling, binge-watching shows that add no value, getting lost in celebrity gossip. It's not just about what you pay attention to, it's also about what you actively choose to ignore. Okay, so you have a disciplined plan and you're learning to focus your attention, but there's still one huge hurdle. How do you overcome that initial resistance and just start? This one's a game changer. We've all been taught to believe that first we need to feel motivated, and then we'll take action. But the reality is the exact opposite. Action is the spark that creates motivation. You don't wait for the feeling, you create the feeling by doing. And this is how you trick your brain into action. Don't think about the entire 1-hour workout. Just commit to 5 minutes of stretching. Don't get overwhelmed by that 10-page report. Just write a single paragraph. This simple trick bypasses the brain's resistance to big tasks. It lowers what psychologists call the activation energy for a habit. Starting small breaks that state of inertia, and more often than not, you'll find yourself wanting to keep going. So you're taking action. But inevitably, when you push yourself, you're going to face setbacks. You're going to fail. And how you frame that failure is absolutely crucial. And this brings us right back to Riddick's journey. When a major project at his job failed, he didn't see it as a dead end. Instead, he treated it like a lesson. He analyzed what went wrong, he identified his mistakes, and he applied those lessons to the very next challenge. His failure was just a detour that taught him a much better route to success. So the crucial point is this: resilience isn't about avoiding failure. That's impossible. True discipline is measured by how quickly you get back on track after you fall. The bounce back is everything. All these principles, discipline, focus, action, and embracing failure, they're all tied together by one final critical element that makes all the difference. And this is the ultimate truth. Real lasting change doesn't come from a single burst of inspiration or some heroic one-time effort.
It comes from the small, often unglamorous, consistent actions you take every single day, especially on the days you don't feel like it.
Think about that. Every time you show up for your workout, or read that chapter, or write that paragraph, you're not just doing the task. You are proving to yourself, day after day, that you are committed to your own growth. This is the ultimate mental upgrade.
And remember, success isn't some final destination you arrive at. It's the natural result of the daily process you commit to. The journey is the reward. So this isn't just information to be consumed. It's an invitation to start your own upgrade. So ask yourself, will you set one clear goal? Will you practice the 5-minute rule? Will you declutter your brain attic? Choose one small step and begin.